fourth recording of today for our 3-episode run next week. Today, my questions. 3 of them. Although we might only get through 2. Mark, we talked a lot about etiquette and living with someone else and things that you change, habits and things that you change to accommodate the other. I say accommodate. In some ways it's just been get rid of that habit. But in the interest of longevity in a relationship, you go, well, I don't mind stopping that, right? However, I've seen this start arguments. Where'd you leave your shoes? Yeah, when you take them off.
Yep. So we're fortunate enough to have a front door and an internal door. So in between the two doors is a shoe rack, and we are in the very, I would say, positive habit of taking off our outside shoes and slipping on our house shoes.
Nah, just socks are bare feet for me.
No, everybody wears house shoes.
No.
Interesting, when we go to the sister-in-laws, I don't know if when we go to sister-in-laws, we take the shoes off at the entrance, and we just go bare socks or bare feet. You're right, in their house. But what do you do?
I have a routine that I do one way around when I'm leaving, and I do it in reverse when I come back in. So there's a spot down there, as you can see me hoodie. I've got me bigger coat underneath it, like me proper hefty winter coat. And I've got me jacket here. So this is me stuff up here. There's me cap, me wallet, me keys, things that I normally need to take out with us. And then on the sofa, me phone, my vape thing that goes in my other pocket. So I've got something in every pocket. Shoes down here, so change in the bedroom, get ready, come through here, shoes on, coat on, cap on. I'm always going to wear my cap, so I don't forget the stuff that's in it. That's why I've put it in the cap, so that I don't forget one or the other. And then when I come back in, it's been shopping. Drop stuff in the kitchen. I might put it away straight away, but 9 times out of 10 I come in here, coat off, hat off, pack everything back into the spots that they're meant to be in, hang my jacket up, shoes straight off, right next to me other shoes, me good shoes, next to me good shoes, me Converse, me good shoes. Then go get changed into me tracky bottoms and a t-shirt or something. Then I put the shopping away, I'll start cooking or what have you. So there's always a spot. I mean, my mum and dad walk around all day fully clothed. Like my dad does. A jumper, shirt, jeans, and his slippers. I mean, I don't get dressed. I only get dressed if I'm going out. Otherwise, I want to sit in me house clothes.
Slacks.
I'm not one for slacks.
Slacks. That's
I'm
what
not one for pyjamas. Not one for pyjamas,
No.
but I will wear tracky bottoms or some shorts or something around the house, depending on the temperature. And socks or not. But I stopped wearing slippers ages ago. I used to have these massive Scooby-Doo things with their little heads on, and I thought it was funny.
These are my house shoes.
Well, those are outdoor shoes repurposed for the indoors. So you don't wear slippers?
Not really, no.
My mum gets a new pair every Christmas.
That's a Christmas thing, isn't it?
Loves her slippers. Mind you, she doesn't half wear them out.
Yeah.
She gets through them.
I remember as a kid, as soon as you walked in the house, we had this big cupboard in front of you, and we just used to kick our shoes off into the cupboard, and then you were left with a bit the next day where you had to find the left and the right foot, and especially if you had a couple of pairs of shoes each, and there's four or five people in the house, you're flipping, there's shoes everywhere, isn't there? But we've turned into a bit of like male and female Imelda Marcos. So we've got so many pairs of shoes that we keep like 2 or 3 pairs on the entrance to the house, and the rest are stored upstairs, in an appropriate way, cleaned and ready for the next outing.
Aye.
So yeah.
But would you put them on upstairs, or would you take them downstairs before putting them on?
it's a good point, because you want things to be in the right, as you said, you want things to be in the right order when you get back. So I tend to pick them up and take them downstairs because I've got my house shoes on, and then put them on at the door, so then my slippers are ready for, are ready for when I get
So
back.
you're inserting it into the process.
Yeah,
So the process is, yeah.
And if you're only wearing them once,
the same leg first.
yeah. If you're only wearing them, like let's say wedding shoes or something like that, which are all kept upstairs, I'll come back in, put me house shoes on, I'll carry them upstairs and put them back where they need to go through for the next album, which could be 3-4 months time. So there's no point in having them at the beginning of the door, because they're never going to be used for 3 or 4 months.
You might ruin them.
Yeah,
Mock from the other shoes. Aye, it's fair.
Yeah.
Use.
So, yeah, and that way you sort of avoid, maybe too many mats at the front door or the back door, in terms of cleaning your feet, because you're just taking them off. And
yeah, I always wipe my feet before walking into someone's house. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they want me to take my shoes off, I will do.
Yeah. If we've had the dog, we'll go out the back way and through the back garden, and you sort of, let's say wellies or whatever, they're at the back door rather than the front door. Yeah, it's an interesting one, especially when people visit and then they see your shoes at the door and they say, "Oh, do we have to take our shoes off?" And we're like, "No, we're not precious about it, but it's just what we do."
I'd ask, and I'd feel obliged to follow convention, because one of the reasons you do it is to keep the carpet nice, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a carpet washer.
You want a nice clean rug, don't you?
Yeah, aye. Lovely, bushy. Aye. No. I think I know the answer to this one. Do you make your bed after you get out?
So,
I don't.
You don't?
Nope.
Tell me about it.
Don't? Well, I'm only going to get in it, right?
Right, okay.
I mean, it'd be different if I was with someone who's a bit fastidious about things. Look, everything has to be presented. I'm like, well, fair enough.
So, are you ready for this?
I'll just, because it's only a duvet, so I could just hide it.
Yeah.
Hide it, make it look neat, but nah.
If you ever get the chance, anybody who's listening or you, look up the speech by Admiral William McRaven, yeah? And he talks about, if you want to change the world, start by your first task of the day. Make your bed. So, and he talks about the principle that you make your bed, if you go out during the day or you have a particularly tough day and you don't feel like you've achieved too much, when you get back, you've got this lovely bed that's already made, ready for you to get in. So you did accomplish something that day. It's a really good motivational speech.
First thing I would do is make a cup of tea, not make the bed.
Yeah, well, I have to say, I very rarely make the bed. And the reason for that? Because I'm always up first.
You're always up first.
I'm always up first. 7 out of 7, I'm always up first. So Anita tends to make the bed. But even if I was in a hotel, I would make the bed in the morning. Always.
Yeah. If I've had a restless night and I know that someone's coming in to clean the room, I feel like it takes the mick a bit, if I don't. So I try and make it at least look half decent. Not prim and proper, but half decent. I'll do it and think, they're going to come in, change the sheets, whatever. I'm not going to leave the room looking a disaster and then walking in going, ugh. Nah. I'm not going to contribute to their day, if you know what I mean. I'm going to try and tidy stuff. But
I must admit, as a child, growing up, most of my early adult life, I would have said no. But it's just another one of those habits that's been put into me during middle life.
Although I will admit, there was a time when I just slept on the sofa. It's the whole reason I bought this. This corner sofa, because it was bigger. It was big enough to sleep on. So I would just fall asleep where I sat. You know what I mean? Just shift me gear out of the way and then just put my head down. And then, of course, my mum started having a go. You've been sleeping on the sofa again. You need to get into proper bed. I'm like, ugh. So, in some ways, one of the reasons I leave the bed unmade is when she comes round. She doesn't
know.
have you been sleeping in the bed? Well, bed's unmade, isn't it? So I've obviously been using it. Avoids that question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like last night, I slept on the sofa. Because
Yeah.
I'd worked myself right to the point where I was knackered, and I went, stuff this, I'm just going to sleep where I am.
We were just about to do a disclaimer. Ma'am, you're not allowed to listen to this episode, right? Just because obviously you'll find out Simon's been sleeping on the sofa.
My younger brother was the same. I mean, I slept for months on the sofa. I didn't even go in the bed. There's all sorts of weird psychological reasons behind it. But
I mean, I know you're really good like that, but I have to say, I measure my sleep most nights, and Anita takes the mick out of me. And I do think that, a good mattress, a good pillow, a good environment is going to give me that high score that I'm looking for in my sleep pattern. I got an 83 last night.
I usually just crash. When I'm ready to sleep, I crash and I don't wake up. I don't wake up until I'm ready to wake up. Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't. I used to have friends I work with who are pretty heavy smokers, and we just got to talking about sleep and getting up during the middle of the night, and so we get to that age, and I'm like, I'm not like that. Like I'll go to the loo before I go to bed, and then that's me. I'm out for the count. So I get up to have a cigarette. I'm like, shut up.
What?
Oh yeah, I've got to get up in the middle of the night about 2 a.m. to have a cigarette.
What?
I've never been like a massive smoker, like 40 a day, 50 a day sort of, it's always been sort of, when I was smoking tabs, it was somewhere around about, 20 odd on a rough day, like a box maybe. She said, no, I get up about 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up needing a cigarette. I'm like, wow. What does that tell you?
That's what I was just about to say. That's the equivalent of an alcoholic having to wake up at 2 o'clock and having a can of Stella.
That's an addiction for you.
Yeah.
So, bit of etiquette, right? Now, I worked with someone who does this, Alex, and he's a great bloke, lovely bloke, really is.
Yeah.
As my mum would say, he's been brought up right. Now, every time he went to make a cup of tea, he would stand up at the desk and then just ask the team, anybody else want a cuppa? And I remember saying, he said, look, I can't remember the last time I said yes. And he went, no, but I'm going to ask anyway. I said, why is that? So it's just the way my mum does it, it's the way my family does it, it's the way I do it with my other half. If I'm going to make a cup of tea, I will offer to make them one. I wouldn't just come into the room with a cup of tea and not have said anything, There was another couple I knew who do the same with sandwiches and that. If he's off to make a cup of tea and a sandwich, she'd be pretty miffed if he didn't ask. Even if she didn't want one, it was the principle of the thing that, so you've made yourself a sandwich? You didn't did you want one? Well, no, but you didn't ask. So what about you? If you're off to make a cuppa or get a glass of something, or maybe he's off to grab some sort of snack, are you sort of asking the other half, or?
It's a really good one, because I think we've got better recently. When Robin was there, she was back with us for a year and left in June. I think we got in good habits of asking if anybody else wanted a drink. And when somebody come in the room with just one drink, there was like this almost like, whoa,
Whoa, you didn't ask.
Yeah, and there's two bits to that. One is, you're quite finicky about how stuff is made. So let's say tea. If I offered to make you a cup of tea, I'd make it terribly. So there's that bit.
Which is why 9 times out of 10, I when someone asks, I appreciate them asking, but I about 9 times out of 10 say no.
And Anita's a bit like you. So Anita's gone to an extreme at work, where her previous job, she's moved on jobs now, but at her previous job, she announced when she got there, I will not be making anybody a cup of tea, and I don't want anybody to make me a cup of tea, for a number of reasons. But one of them was like if there's 10 people in the office and they're going for a cup of tea, so does that mean multiple times per day you're asked?
Oh, we had this special cup holding tray that had holes in it.
Yeah,
and you could just put everyone's cup in. I mean, if you watch the systems team.
Yeah,
there was about 8 to 10 of them at one point, and one of them would just stand up and they're like, aye, and they all drank tea, or coffee, and they just picked up this disc-shaped thing with a load of holes in, and they would just slot everyone's cup in and carry them in the kitchen. I went, oh, that's a lark. You've got to remember everyone's mixture. Like, he likes it, the tea bag left in. He likes it milky. He likes a cup of Builder's tea. All that. I'm like, look, that was my ethos. Look, I will never ask you to make me one, and I will never say yes to you offering to make me one.
Yeah.
I will always make my own, but then I won't make anyone else's. I used to occasionally do it if it was, me, Sarah, me and Alex. If it was just a couple of us needed something, do you want a coffee? Although Sarah will argue, she always filled the cafetiere and she always emptied it.
Well, that's the bit. Some people in the office will take advantage of her good nature, won't they?
Oh, well, this is the thing. And I've had that happen, that I would get up and, just to be nice, get to know people, remember everyone's tea recipes or their coffee recipes. And just every now and again, Sarah used to bring in some awesome coffees, and I bought a cafetiere, a proper one off Amazon, brought that into work, and we'd just fill it up, bring that back, and then you could just pour it yourself. Make it. There's a cafetiere with some coffee in it. You help yourself. She drank more than I did, but
I have getting in the habit of, because Anita drinks a lot less tea than me on an evening. Like, my last drink, I don't ask her, but the previous ones I do, because my last drink of the day is a coffee machine decaf with coconut milk in, and it's just like my bedtime drink. And she doesn't drink anything at that time of the night like that, so I just know not to ask. I just don't ask.
That's maybe why you're getting up in the middle of the night.
I know it is. I'm cutting it down. I'm trying to. So I would, and I think it goes back to the sort of the drinking thing. When you're drinking and you're just drinking pint after pint, then you never stop drinking. But now,
and once you break the seal,
that's it. So now, between, let's say, 6 and 10, I probably have 3 drinks. 6 and 10, 3 drinks. One's what I would call a black tea, one's a herbal tea, and then the last one is a decaffeinated coffee. So that's my nighttime routine, 3 drinks.
Herbal tea's probably flushing you out, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all diuretics, aren't they? They don't help.
People don't realise that. Oh, have a cup of tea. One thing I cannot stand, and I think this is probably my final point, is my mum. It's hot. Have a cup of tea. It's too hot for a cup of tea. It cools you down. I don't understand the science of that. So you're gonna, if you feel hotter on the inside than it is on the outside, you'll feel colder. So no. So, if you cool down your core, the rest of your body cools down because of the heat loss, as your blood passes through your cooler core.
I know we need to finish, but there was that debate on the radio yesterday. Is somebody in the metro yesterday at sort of 8-9 o'clock in the morning is cracking a can of fizzy pop, and there were discussion whether that was appropriate or not appropriate to have a can of pop at that time in the morning.
Yeah, I feel that's exactly what I did with it. With me can of Tango, I just went, first drink of the day was a can of pop, and I felt wrong. I felt really wrong doing it. Like, I shouldn't have that. But if you felt how warm it is, it's probably stuffy. Yeah. I'm not having a cup of tea. And then when you said, before we start, I'm off to make a cuppa. And I thought, I can't sit here drinking that.
I did both.
So I went off and made a cup of tea. Because I thought, I feel weird sitting here with me.
It was actually a split view. It was a split view on the radio program, because you're right. You had those that were saying it's hot, and then others that were saying, "Oh no, you shouldn't be," and others that were saying, "Well, it's a cool drink at that time of the day." I was like, I'm envious when I saw them on the metro with drinking that pop. I wanted one.
Yeah. So you've got, what's the difference then between a can of Orange Tango and a glass of Tropicana? Because you'll drink orange juice with your breakfast, right?
Yeah, fruit juice in the morning, which is just full of crap anyway. But you're right. Most people would start a breakfast like that continental breakfast with a glass of fruit juice. There's no difference. It's just got some
We
bubbles in
did.
it.
We quite often had the apple juice or the orange juice.
Yeah.
With whatever we're having over in Germany, or you'd have them, or on the plane, if it was an early morning flight, you'd have the juice with it. So the only difference really is one's fizzy, and the other one's not. One's seen as perhaps because it's seen, a can is seen as a confection, like a sweet.
Yeah.
Whereas, whereas fruit juice is a healthy way to start the day.
As you can see, mine's Fanta and zero sugar.
Yes. Well, I couldn't find a Tango Orange Zero, but I've got the Apple Zero alongside. So I've got the Tango Orange and Apple. They were on special. Price lock. They were on price lock
till the end of the year.
Aye.
Which is double the price before we make that statement. Never mind.
About to say that. Now, if you've ever been in Dixon's or Curry's and say, "Oh look, 50% off," they hiked the price up by 35% just prior though.
Yeah.
Now, if you'd seen the price, look at the Black Friday deals. See how much money's off? Yeah, but they hiked the price up in June. So by the time it gets to Black Friday, you've forgotten that they hiked the price up during summer. Look at how much. It's 500 quid off. They added that on. They added that on in May. What are you on about? You're better off getting your deals in the January sales when they're trying to get shot of everything they haven't sold.
Exactly. Otherwise, they just
it's a false economy.
Wheel it into the warehouse and do you for it next year, don't they?
Aye. They'll get you one way or another.
That's it.
So
one way or another, I'm gonna get you one way. Tell you, wasted me.
Copyright strike for that, but then again, depends if it was in tune.
That's it.
So.
Rude.
We'll leave YouTube. Leave YouTube as the judge.
Yeah.
So, questions, arguments, comments, preferences down below.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see. We should have plenty of debate next week. If I'm going to hire all three of these out, should be all sorts of arguments. We'll see. So, all of that stuff below, likes, shares, etc., etc. And we'll see you next time. Take care.